This last person, I don't know him very well, never heard much about him, but I know you have done in the past some work with Operation Christmas Child. I love that ministry because it does both the first and second service to the Lord. It spreads the Word of God when we send the box, and it also shares the love of God with people who don't know it. And I believe Connie's going to talk about that a little. In fact, she brought some with her.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Conni Lape, and as Pastor Woody explained, I am the Director of Lay Servant Ministries for the Delaware Bay District. He's new to this church. I'm new to this position. I've only been doing this since July, and this is my first opportunity to speak with some of my fellow lay servants, and I just want to thank Jim and Mike, and Carol has had to skedaddle already, but I want to thank both of you gentlemen for coming today, and thank you for making my job a little easier, because otherwise I had to do all of it. Operation Christmas Child, how many people have heard of that before? Great, that's awesome. Samaritan's Purse is the charity that directs Operation Christmas Child. Samaritan's Purse was founded by Billy Graham's son, Franklin Graham, and their purpose is to go out in the world and help people who need it in the various ways that people need help, be it medical care or digging wells or just a helping hand sometimes. But along with that helping hand, they offer the gospel. And they offer Jesus to people who need to hear Jesus. And Operation Christmas Child was a brainchild of theirs that they decided to go ahead and do. And what they do is they take these boxes, they'll take a shoebox, or in this case a shoebox-sized plastic box, and they ask people from churches and from youth groups and from all kinds of different organizations to fill a box with something that a child might want for Christmas. I've got a couple of boxes here, and Dolores and Jody were kind enough to actually make these boxes. They made them last year, and then I was too late to get them to the drop-off point, so they didn't make it last year, but they'll make it this year. But see, some of the things that they put in the boxes, crayons, and this will be a box clearly for girls, since they don't really want jewelry links for a boy. There's a ball in here and scissors. I know people who put all kinds of different, they put soap and toothpaste and solar calculators. There's all kinds of things you can put in a box. It's only limited by your own imagination and the fact that they ask not to put any liquids, not to put any guns or toys that might reflect war, because some of these kids are getting these toys in war-torn nations, and you don't want to aggravate that for them. And they ask no chocolate, eat it yourselves. If you want to put in something like that for kids, put in a hard candy so that it doesn't melt, because some of these kids are getting these boxes in nations that are a lot warmer than ours, and they can't keep the chocolate. What Operation Christmas Child will do is they collect all of these in November, and there's a local collection spot right up the road at the Amazing Grace Resource Center in Mullica Hill. You don't even have to pay to ship it to North Carolina. You just drop it off in Mullica Hill with $7. That $7 covers the shipping of the box to a country. Some of them actually stay in the U.S., in depressed areas of the U.S., but a lot of them go overseas. They go to 66 different countries. And inside every box, Operation Christmas Child will put a message about Jesus in that child's native language. So that child's not just getting your crayons and your scissors and your soap and your toothbrush. That child's getting Jesus. And in a lot of these communities, there's also a backup plan where they have an opportunity to have these kids go to a Sunday school type environment and learn a lot more about Jesus. So you're not just giving, some pencils, you're giving life, true life in Jesus Christ. And so I would encourage everybody in this church to go ahead and do a box, and maybe you got some room up here, you can just drop them off, and everybody can take a look at your boxes and see what you're all giving, and then you can haul them all down. Woody, put them in the back of Woody's truck, make him do it, and haul them all down to Mullica Hill and drop them off. And I urge you, even if you're not dropping off, to go to the Amazing Grace Resource Center sometime during the week, the collection week in November, and just take a look at some of those boxes. I mean, just take a look at to ceiling high, as big as your back room and more, piled high to the ceiling of boxes that are going out. And when you think about it, it's just a fraction of what's going to these kids that need it from all over the United States and Canada as well. And that's just amazing. I can't stand here and not put in a plug. We are having every year. Has anybody heard of the basic or the lay speakers or the lay servants before today? You ever heard of that program? It is a United Methodist program. It is actually throughout the entire United Methodist Church all over the world, and every conference has an opportunity to offer classes to help people understand more about themselves, understand more about God, and understand how God would like you to serve His people. I know that Mike and Jim have both taken the class. I know that Carol took the class, as I taught Mike and Carol when they took their class. But everybody who wants to take a class starts with a basic class. And the basic class gives you some information about the United Methodist Church, about your spiritual gifts. It does tell you actually how to put together a sermon. If you ever wanted to think about delivering a sermon, there's information on that. We talked about Bible studies and helping facilitate Bible studies in our class. But there's a lot of different information to help you figure out how God wants you to serve. And your church, surprise, has very kindly offered to host the spring class.
They don't know that yet.
Oh, no. I'm telling them now.
I didn't tell them.
You guys have volunteered to host the spring class, and that brings people into your church so that you can meet them, but that they can meet you. It also gives you the opportunity to stay home and take a good class. And even if you don't ever take it any further than the basic class, it does give you a lot of good information. There are two other levels now. There's something called an advanced lay servant, and that's what the gentleman and Carol and I are. We are advanced lay servants, and we had to take another class, another 10-hour class that was very specific. I took one on discovering our spiritual gifts. I know that there are some on preaching. There's a whole 10-hour class on how to pray. And they offer, and the conference offers that, or the United Methodist Church offers that. And then there's going to be another level beyond that called Certified Lay Speaker. Brand new. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Just know that it's out there. But I urge you to make the folks that are going to come to this basic class in the spring welcome. I urge you to take the class. It's going to be a lot of fun, but it also is going to be very eye-opening. And we keep Woody's part to a minimum. So do you have any questions about Operation Christmas Child or Mike? Because I know Mike is very versed in Operation Christmas Child as well.
I want to share a story. Our church is...
Mike goes to South Island.
Yeah, sorry. Our church is a relay center, so all the boxes from your collection centers come to our church. We had a mother and her 2 small children show up to drop a box off, and the kid was just looking in the door. So we asked him, well, what's wrong? And the young boy said, I've never seen a church before. So we took him on a tour of the building. It's a great opportunity to just bring them in. The other thing is if you've ever done a box, this evening in Vineland at the South Vineland United Methodist Church, we're having a guest speaker. Her name is Livia, who received a box as a child in Russia. And she's now in her mid-20s, and she's working for Operation Christmas Child. It's called Full Circle Story. So she's helping other children get the box and the same gift that she received as a young child. If you're free this evening and you want to come down to Vineland at 6 o'clock, we start a meal and then we're going to have the guest speaker in at around 7. So you're all more than welcome to come out for that also, just to hear what the experience she had receiving a box. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Not at all. Not at all. I welcome it. It means I have to talk less. So thank you all very much for having us all here today, and we just really appreciate the opportunity to share with you our passions and our loves. And honestly, I know that these guys were both involved with their missions before they ever took the basic class, but I certainly hope that the certified lay speaker class has helped you hone your own gifts so that you could help your missions, the things that you love, even more. And you know, God really does put these things in our path, not just for us to help others, but for us to be enriched as well. Because I can't tell you how much I've been enriched, you know, just by putting these boxes together and by doing some of the shopping and you know, you get an opportunity to speak to somebody in the dollar store about Jesus because of these boxes, and it's amazing. And their jaw drops when you're buying 20 bars of soap and you're a dirty person. Well, no, you know, this is what I'm doing, and they're just amazed. So it's really an opportunity. You take the opportunities that God presents when you're doing that to witness. And you're not doing anything other than saying, hey, this is what Jesus has led me to do, but you're making somebody think about Jesus. And that's the best way to witness, is just use whatever God's putting in your life and putting in your heart to share with others. Thank you.